Hey guys, what is up? So in today's video I have my October wrap-up / my November TBR, and before I begin I just want to say that I'm sorry that my background is so plain. I tried filming in front of my bookshelf earlier, but the sun was doing all sorts of crazy things and the lighting just kept changing and it was just really bad. So I just decided for now to just switch over to my plain wall. Don't worry, this is going to be permanent or anything. My next videos will have a lot more interesting background. So this month I read technically 6 books, but one of them was a book that I already read before, so 5 new books, 1 reread. And the first book that I read this month was It's on the Floor. It was Empire Storms by Sarah J Maas. This is, as you all know, the 5th installment in Throne of Glass series. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, which is basically what I've been giving every other book. I have a lot of issues with the series, especially with the main character and her love interest. I don't know. I have a full book review on this book if you want to go and check that out on my channel. And also this month I've been in a pretty big contemporary kick. I've just been wanting to read every single contemporary book out there, which is really weird. I normally don't gravitate towards contemporary, but this month I've just been like, yes. Give me all of the contemporary. So the first contemporary I read was Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, and this book is about a girl named Kath who just recently graduated high school and she is off now to college. She is an introvert and she's a really big fan of Simon Snow, which is basically the Harry Potter of their world. She has t-shirts, she has posters, and she also writes fan fiction. This is basically her story of going through her first year in college, being a fan of the series, going through family issues. She, of course, falls in love. There's a little bit of a romance in this book. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I felt like some parts of this book were a little bit boring, and I feel like I attribute this to the fact that I read it on ebook. It's just such a big book, and when you have parts that drag or are a little bit slow, it just really dampens the whole reading experience. And especially when you're reading it on ebook and you don't know how many pages are left, you're just kind of like, oh, when will this book end? I was also not a fan of the love interest. I have a lot of problems with that guy. I don't even want to begin, but I had a lot of problems with that guy, and it was a good story, but towards the end I just felt like it was drooping a little bit, and yeah. Next book we have is Falling Into Place by Amy Zhang. This book is about a girl named Liz Emerson who decides she can't take it anymore, so she wants to commit suicide, but make it look as an accident. So she decides to ram her car into a tree, but her plan fails and she's still alive, but she is struggling to survive. She's in the hospital, and this book basically jumps from the past and the present, and it tells you how other people in her life are being affected by her decision to kill herself and why she decides to. And I thought it was a really interesting book. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It's told through someone's point of view that you don't know who this person is until the ending of the story, and I may have cried a tear or two while reading the story. I just felt like I really need to reread this book in order to fully grasp the whole message and concept of the story, so I will definitely be revisiting this book in the future. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it if you're looking for a good contemporary. And next we have a book that is loved by so many booktubers, and it is More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. This book I also gave a 4 out of 5 too. It's a contemporary novel, of course, about a kid named Aaron, not a kid, he's a teen. This guy named Aaron Soto, and he has a girlfriend, and he one day meets this guy and starts to develop feelings for him, but he doesn't want to be gay, so he contemplates the idea of erasing the memory of the guy that he met in order to stop being gay. And this book kind of illustrates the struggle that he has with accepting himself and dealing with his father's suicide, and I just thought it was a really amazing novel. I also cried a little bit towards the end of the story, and this book took an interesting turn that I was definitely not expecting. The plot started going in a way that I was like, whoa, 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 what? It's not necessarily a plot twist, but it just went in a very interesting direction, and I felt like the way it was wrapped up was also very interesting, and it was really unique, and I really liked this book. But one of my favorite parts about it is that it has a lot of great representation of minorities and the LGBT community. In this book, there's actually a character from the Dominican Republic, which I have never read a character in a young adult book that is also from the Dominican Republic, which is awesome. Genevieve in the story is Dominican, or at least it's mentioned that her mom is Dominican, and it's just great because usually when you read a young adult book with a Hispanic character, 9 times out of 10 they're from Mexico, which is great, don't get me wrong, but you know, but there's just so many different Hispanic and Spanish speaking communities, and it's awesome seeing a different one being represented. And the last book I read that was not the reread is We Are Liars by E. Lockhart. Or We Were Liars? Wait, let me see. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. And this book I gave a 2 out of 5. This book, I don't even want to tell you what it's about because you're not really supposed to know what it's about. But let's just say that this book is known for like its plot twist, and yeah, it was a plot twist alright, but it was such a cheap one, and I was just like, why? Just why? The plot twist for me was just like, why? Why would you, like, you couldn't have come up with something better, you know? And also I felt like some parts were very slow and boring, and I don't know. I had a lot of issues with this book, but I did like the personification of pain. I just thought that was very poetic and really, really nice, but that was one of the few things that I liked about this book. And then the last book I finished reading was the one that I actually already read earlier this year. I actually read the entire series earlier this year, but it's Angel Fall by Susan E. First book in one of my all-time favorite trilogies, the Penguin and the End of Day series. I'm in love with this book. This is the second time reading it. I read the entire series earlier this year in January, but I don't even know what to say. I loved it. I had such a great time reading it the second time as I did the first time. It's set in a post-apocalyptic world where angels have taken over, and Penguin, which is the main character's sister, is wheelchair bound and has been kidnapped by angels, and so she has to now go on this mission to find her sister. And man, these books are great. If you're a fan of angel books, or even if you're not a fan of angel books, read it. I just feel like there's so many classic young adult tropes that are in this book, but Susan E. really just twists them and makes it her own. Penguin is such an independent, badass character. She does not wait for her love interest to come around and save her. She definitely is the one that does a lot of the rescuing in this story. And also the love. Oh my gosh, one of the best written romances that I have ever read in a book, because it's not insta-lovey. It's definitely, the romance progresses in a really realistic fashion, and even though there's barely any romance, like any physical displays of affection, that's what I should say, the physical displays of affection throughout really the entire series, you can still just read the emotion. I don't know, man. I just read this book. Just read it, okay? Read it. If you're looking for a non-insta-lovey book where the main character is not stupid and just waits around for the love interest to rescue her, if you're looking for a book that plays on the whole classic idea of angels that are supposed to be good, but in the story they're really not that good, if you're looking for any of those things, pick this entire series up on Amazon, which is sadly the only place you can buy it. On to my November TBR. I have a couple of books that I want to read, start reading, finish reading, and the first book I want to I don't know if I'm gonna finish this book this month because I've been reading this book for like 2 months and I just can't get into it. I just find it so boring and it makes me really sad because it's such a beloved book. Such an overhyped book on BookTube, and it's I'll Give You the Sun by Jenny Nelson. I started reading this book in like August, early September. I made it to page 79 and I can't get into this book. I find it so boring. I just can't, but I don't want to leave it unfinished, so I'm gonna try and trek my way through this book this month, hopefully finish it, because I don't want to just leave this book on DNF, so yeah. I also want to finish reading And Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Yes, I am using a shoelace as a bookmark. I started reading this book like 3 days ago and I stopped. I'm on page like 4. But it's not because it's bad, it's just because I just really wanted to reread Angel Falls, so I kind of pushed this book aside. But I will be continuing reading this book this month, and it's another highly talked about book on BookTube. Fantasy. I haven't started a fantasy series in a really long time, so I'm excited to get back into that genre. And then I have Fans of the Impossible Life by Kate Salsa. This is continuing my contemporary kick. I love contemporary now. I don't know why I love it so much now all of a sudden, but I'm really excited. And this one, I'm not sure what it's really about, but it's like 3 characters and one of them is gay, and road trips and private school, I don't know. And then the last book that I want to start reading this month is Life of Pi by Jan Martel. And I've been wanting to read more books that I don't usually read, like books in genres that I wouldn't normally pick up. And Life of Pi is definitely one of those books. It's a book that has been talked about a lot, very critically acclaimed, winner of the Man Booker Prize. There's a movie about it. It's about a 16-year-old that is on a boat with a hyena, a zebra, an orangutan, and a tiger. And I'm really interested to see how this book plays out. I'm really excited to read it, so I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. Okay, so that is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Okay, bye. And I promise that the background will be a lot more interesting. Okay, bye!